Hello, and welcome to All the Trek from Educating Geeks, the show where I watch every episode of Star Trek until I develop a distaste for all things in life. I'm your host, Bree, and today I'll be reviewing episodes 72 through 75 of Star Trek, the original series. Episode 72, That Which Survives. Who, what's the where? Some creepy ghost lady starts to kill the crew members with a single touch, and surprise, surprise, she's a computer program left behind by the previous dead inhabitants of the planet. Obviously, this is a favorite storyline to repeat in the Star Trek universe. I have spoken about this episode at length before. Enough said. 1 out of 5 stars. Episode 73, The Lights of Zetar. This episode opens with Scotty in love, so automatically we know that a very special guest is either going to die or be conveniently shuffled away at the end of the episode. Will Scotty finally be allowed to have a romance with someone other than a bottle of scotch? Of course not. Kirk can't stand to see anybody else in love, but it's a rare pleasure for the audience to finally see anyone other than Kirk get some action. Scotty's lady, Mira, gets possessed by a space cloud of lights. They put her in a pressure chamber, the lights go out, she ends up fine, and she gets to run things at Memory Alpha. Scotty and Mira part ways, never to speak again, because lead characters aren't allowed to have long-term relationships. This episode is actually pretty cute all through the first act. Unlike Scotty's last foray into love, this woman returns his feelings. And they were adorable together. 4 out of 5 stars. Bonus! This episode features the greatest background actor of all time. Seriously, what is this guy doing? Episode 74, Requiem for Methuselah. This episode features the ultimate male and female Mary Sues. He's a man who's secretly been a famous figure through several generations on Earth. She's the humanoid robot that he's created to be his companion. Together, they go on a wacky adventure through space that ends in death. Her death, obviously. Kirk falls in love with this robot chick because she's perfect, and he falls in love with anything that looks like it might be female and happens to also move. But I guess this time it's different because he has a really big android fetish or something, so her death hits him really hard. Kirk's whole thing in this episode pisses me off. His reaction tells me one thing. Nothing short of the perfectly engineered woman dying is enough to get him to cry. Not even the, actual flesh and blood women he's left behind or watched die. Women who have families and histories. Not even the death of the woman who was carrying his child could elicit this reaction. But Leonard Nimoy saves the episode when Spock goes up to Kirk and initiates a mind meld. This episode features some of the best acting to date. Bones is unforgivably awful to Spock, but Spock reaches in and feels Kirk's heartbreak and helps him forget it. Single manly tear running down my cheek. End scene. Spock gets 5 out of 5 stars. This episode gets 2. Episode 75, The Way to Eden. This is the most annoying episode ever. Hippies take over the Enterprise, and some annoying a-hole with a blonde afro sings the most annoying songs I've ever heard. Seriously, who is this guy? Is he related to somebody? Did you owe him a favor? This feels like the longest episode in the world. I want to slap everybody who was involved. 2 of the hippies die, the rest get dropped off. I know this episode is probably iconic to some people because of the counterculture representation. I think it's pandering crap, and I wish it had burned in a fire. 0 out of 5 stars. This episode should open with a disclaimer that tells you not to waste your time. Hi, Trek fans. Did you know that Alice and Megan also rate every episode on All the Trek? You can see what they thought of each episode by clicking the link in the description below. We have more videos available on our channel, so don't forget to subscribe. You can also find a lot of great content on the Educating Geeks website. That's educatinggeeks.com. If you're a social animal, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and Google+. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you here next week for another Trek Tuesday. Live long and prosper.